Almost 2 years ago, we were lucky enough to spend an entire month in Vietnam, traveling from the city of Ho Chi Minh City all the way to the northernmost city of Sapa completely by bus. We then took a 32-hour train back to Saigon before leaving the country. Vietnam is one of our favourite countries to visit in the world, and although we loved every minute of our whirlwind trip there are a few things we would change if we were to spend another 30 days in the country. We were lucky enough to visit Vietnam once again recently, and we were reminded of just how special this place is, which is why we decided to make for you guys a perfect 30-day Vietnam travel itinerary.
Before we get into today's episode, we just want to say a big thank you to Surfshark for supporting our channel and sponsoring this video. If you've been watching our channel for a while, you would know that we've been using Surfshark VPN since the day we started our travels. It's been a game changer and something we can't live without as digital nomads. If you don't know what a VPN is, it stands for Virtual Private Network. Having a VPN keeps you safe basically by covering up everything you do online. It's kind of like wearing a mask. When your laptop or phone connects to the internet, all of your information is encrypted. Basically, whenever you log into public Wi-Fi, you're running the risk of a hacker stealing your information, which is why we always use Surfshark in public settings. But aside from providing us with extra security while we're on the road, Surfshark also makes it possible for us to access online streaming sites that we wouldn't normally be able to access because we're in another country. So basically how it works, when you're using Surfshark VPN, you can choose which country's server you want to connect to, and not only that, you can connect an unlimited amount of devices using just one Surfshark account. If you're interested in trying it out, click the link in the description and use code Lloyd and Mandy, and you'll get an exclusive Surfshark deal of an extra 3 months free. And if you've never used a VPN before and you're not really sure about it, they have a 30-day money-back guarantee, so no worries. Thank you, Surfshark, for supporting our channel, and thank you guys for listening. Now let's get into the episode.
We believe 30 days is the perfect amount of time to travel the entire country of Vietnam, and it also just so happens to be the amount of time you will be given granted on a tourist visa for Vietnam. But because we're making this content for you guys, we also took a poll on our community page, and most of you said that if you were to travel to Vietnam in 2024, that you would like to spend 30 days there. So, without further ado, here's our perfect 1 month Vietnam travel itinerary, and if you think we missed anything along the way, leave us a comment down below to let us know. Vietnam is a diverse country, stretching 650 kilometers from the northernmost point to the southernmost. With the two biggest cities being on either end of the country, you can choose to start in the north and work your way down, or, as we did, start in the south of Ho Chi Minh City and work your way up. First stop, Ho Chi Minh City. Ho Chi Minh City, commonly known as Saigon, is the most populous city in Vietnam with a population of around 9 million people as of 2023. The city is also the busiest international transport hub in Vietnam, as the international airport accounts for nearly half of all international arrivals to the country. And as soon as you step off the plane and into the bustling streets, you can definitely feel it. Ho Chi Minh is separated into 14 different districts, each with their own unique vibe and culture. However, if you're visiting for the first time, it's probably best to stay somewhere in District 1, as it is the most tourist friendly. There is an abundance of hotels, restaurants and cafes that blend Vietnamese culture with French colonialism. And if you're looking for a fun night out of people watching, then look no further than Boi Vien Walking Street, where crowds line the sides of the road from around 7 PM onwards, until the road shuts down at 2 AM. Here you'll find plenty of bars and nightclubs that also serve delicious local cuisine. However, don't expect to get the cheapest prices, as this is really an extremely touristy area. For a more authentic food experience, we recommend the motorbike food tour run by EXO Tours. Here, local Vietnamese women will drive you around to many different districts by scooter, combining sightseeing with a culinary experience like no other. This was by far our favourite thing we did in our month-long stay in Vietnam, and is probably the best way to start your trip. And if you're into history, there are a ton of museums in Ho Chi Minh City to choose from, although some are a little more depressing than others given the country's history. We really enjoyed our time in Ho Chi Minh City, and we think spending 4 nights here to start your trip while you recover from jet lag is just a great way to get acclimated to Vietnam. Next stop, Mui Ne for 2 nights. From Ho Chi Minh, you can jump on a bus to the quiet fishing village of Mui Ne. A quick side note, buses are by far the most popular and easiest way to get around in Vietnam, and they're surprisingly comfortable, with onboard bathrooms and sleeper seats that are more like beds, plus some even have free Wi-Fi. They're also reasonably cheap, and you can get a ticket almost anywhere in the country for under $10 to $20. Mui Ne is a beach resort town along the sea in southeast Vietnam. With a long, palm-lined stretch of sand, it's become a popular getaway from Ho Chi Minh City for locals, with a busy strip of hotels, restaurants and shops. But perhaps the most surprising part of Mui Ne was the natural sand dunes that make you feel like you're in the middle of the Sahara Desert. If you're feeling adventurous, you can book one of the sunrise jeep tours that will take you to the perfect viewpoint before the area gets too crowded, and trust us, it does. The sand dune tour is followed by a tour of the local fishing village, which we found quite interesting, as well as a trip to the natural wonder that is Red Cliff Creek. And just in case you're someone who enjoys trying some of the more exotic foods while you're traveling, believe it or not, the local cuisine in Mui Ne of choice is iguana. Local people cook iguana in 7 different ways: grilled, steamed, fried, roasted, raw, served in porridge, iguana pie, and served alongside vegetables. Although I wasn't brave enough to try it on our trip as I was already having some stomach issues, but as they say, when in Rome. From Mui Ne, you can get on another sleeper bus to the larger beach resort town of Nha Trang, where you can spend 4 nights. It's about a 4-hour journey according to Google Maps, but don't let that fool you. Like most trips in Vietnam, it will most likely take longer. So allow yourself up to 5 hours to get there. Nha Trang is a coastal resort city in southern Vietnam known for its beaches, diving sites and offshore islands. Its main beach is a long curving stretch along Tran Phu Street, backed by a promenade, hotels and seafood restaurants. Aerial cable cars cross over to Hon Tre Island and the nature reserves of Hon Mun and Hon Tam Islands, which are also reachable by boat and have some amazing coral reefs. Our favourite part of Nha Trang was visiting the beach in the late afternoon for sunset, where you can see plenty of local families coming out to spend their time flying kites and enjoying the cooler weather, and also enjoying a couple of cold beers. While in Nha Trang, you can also visit the Nha Trang walking street to grab yourself some amazing street food as well as some local arts and crafts. We recommend getting around Nha Trang by either grab taxi or scooter, both of which are extremely affordable. Next stop, one of our favourite towns in Vietnam, Hoi An, where you'll be spending 3 nights. Hoi An is a little bit of a longer bus ride from Nha Trang, with about 8 hours in total, which is why we recommend buying a VIP sleeper bus ticket. However, if you do get car sick, don't expect to get too much sleep. Although the drive is very beautiful and we think it's a great way to see the country, it can be quite bumpy. If you prefer a less bumpy ride, then you can always take a train, which is only a little bit more expensive and also offers sleeper cabins. But just be warned, you may need to share a cabin with others, unless you purchase the cabin for yourself, of course. And if you're traveling to Hoi An, we recommend planning a trip around the monthly Lantern Festival, which is a sight to behold. The Hoi An Lantern Festival is held on the 14th day of the lunar month, when the moon is at its fullest and brightest. It starts around 6 p.m. and continues on until around 10 o'clock. Many people choose to arrive early, often before 6 p.m, to enjoy the sunset and dinner before the glimmering, colourful lanterns steal the show. Here you can take a boat ride through the river to take in the beautiful sights of the lanterns, which is truly a captivating experience and one not to be missed. But don't worry, because during the day there is still plenty to do, and the best way to get around here is by bicycle. Although it does get extremely hot here, so to avoid the midday heat, we recommend doing most of your exploring either early morning or late afternoon. Just a short 2-hour bus ride from Hoi An is the city of Da Nang. Da Nang is the commercial and educational centre of central Vietnam and is the largest city in the region and the 5th largest city in Vietnam by population. While we didn't spend a lot of time in Da Nang, we really regretted not visiting some of the nearby natural wonders such as the Marble Mountains, Non Nuoc Beach and the Ba Na Hills, which is a mountain resort with a 5-kilometre long cable car system which carries guests up to Ba Na's peak at almost 1,500 metres above sea level. As well as Sontra Mountain just a few miles away from the city centre with some wild streams and resorts along the seaside. Da Nang also has some great night markets as well as the famous Dragon Bridge, which is definitely a sight to see at night. Da Nang is also a great place to get a cheap flight to Hanoi, as by now you're probably sick and tired of the long bus journeys. Next stop, Hanoi, where you'll be spending 4 nights. The capital of Vietnam is known for its centuries-old architecture and a rich culture with Southeast Asian, Chinese and French influences. At the heart of Hanoi is the chaotic Old Quarter, where the narrow streets are filled with coffee shops, local street food vendors, as well as other local trades. There are many little temples, including Bach Ma, honouring a legendary horse, plus Dong Chuang Market, selling household goods and street food. You can walk the Old Quarter relatively easily, or choose to take a pedicab for a more relaxing view of the area. But be sure to pay a visit to the famous Hoan Kiem Lake, which is right across the road from the Old Quarter. And if you're looking for nightlife in Hanoi, then Beer Street is a perfect blend of backpackers, locals, and even businessmen. They say if you can't make friends on Beer Street, then you might be the problem. No trip to Hanoi would be complete without a visit to the famous Train Street. Nestled in Hanoi's Old Quarter, this narrow alley attracts travellers hoping to snap a picture on the active train track and even catch a train whiz by. This alley is actually a residential area, and many of the locals have recognised the unique business opportunity that Train Street delivers and have subsequently converted their houses into cafes where you can sip on traditional egg coffee while waiting for the train to pass by. This happens a handful of times throughout the day, but be careful though, as like most places in Vietnam, the street can get extremely busy, so get there early to grab a spot. Fun fact, there have actually been many instances in the past of accidents due to tourists not moving far enough from the moving trains, causing the line to be shut down on multiple occasions. However, we still think it's one of the most iconic things to do in Hanoi. Ninh Binh. From Hanoi, you can easily take a grab taxi to the scenic town of Ninh Binh for as little as $40, which will take you just over 1 hour. We were lucky enough to recently visit this amazing town, which may just be our new favourite destination in Vietnam. It's a very chill place to spend a few days after the craziness of Hanoi. If you haven't seen our recent 2-part series of Ninh Binh, then go and check it out, it's truly amazing. But be warned, it does get relatively cold in the north of Vietnam in the winter months, so make sure you pack accordingly. We made the mistake of not packing warm clothes, and we had to purchase them when we got there, which was fine because there are so many clothing stores in both Hanoi and Ninh Binh. Ninh Binh is lined with homestays, Airbnbs and hotels, and we really think you can't go wrong no matter which area you stay in. Although there are no grab taxis here, it is easy enough to get around by bicycle or scooter, which are both extremely cheap to hire. Some highlights of Ninh Binh are the Tam Kok River paddleboat tour, Mua Cave and Mua Viewpoint, and the Tai Vi Temple, as well as the abundance of beautiful scenery, all of which can be accessed by bike or scooter. However, we do recommend taking the convertible Jeep tour that we did. It was so much fun, and the driver even let us stop to fly our drone a few times. Even though Ninh Binh is a relatively quiet town, there's still a lot of places to go out and enjoy a great meal or a few drinks at night. Ninh Binh really does have it all, and we highly recommend putting it on your Vietnam itinerary. From Ninh Binh, you can book a trip directly to Ha Long Bay to take a 2-night boat trip sailing on what is perhaps the most breathtaking scenery in the whole country. Although it has become increasingly popular over the years amongst tourists, we still highly recommend a visit to Ha Long Bay. It's known for its emerald waters and thousands of towering limestone islands topped by rainforests. Junk boat tours and sea kayak expeditions take visitors past islands named for their shapes, including Stone Dog and Teapot Islands. You really can't go wrong with any of the junk boat tours here. However, when we visited the bay, we were on board the Paradise Elegance and it was truly a 5-star experience. The food was 10 out of 10, as was the service, and they even had live music for entertainment every night on board. Although some of the activities are encouraged, you're not obligated at all to leave the boat during the cruise, and you can do what we did, which was enjoy a cold beer in the hot tub all to ourselves while taking in the spectacular views of Ha Long Bay. This place might just be the most Instagrammable place in Vietnam. And last but not least, Sapa. Finish up your trip in the northern town of Sapa, which is a town in the mountains of northwestern Vietnam. It's a popular hiking spot and overlooks the terraced rice fields of the Muang Hoa Valley and is near the 3,000 metre tall Phang Shi Pang Peak, which is climbable via a steep, multi-day guided walk. Hill tribes such as the Hmong, Tay and Dao make up much of the town's local population. While in Sapa, we recommend visiting Cat Cat Village, which is known for its natural beauty and Hmong culture and traditions. Traditional wood huts, some serving as homestays, overlook the mountainside ricefield terraces. On Sea Bridge, visitors pass stalls selling Hmong handicrafts, homemade corn wine and naturally dyed clothes on the way to Tien Sa waterfalls. Cultural shows are performed at the Na Hang Dung Thu Centre. While we were in Sapa, we splurged on our hotel and stayed at the Hotel de la Coupole, which is a 5-star property and honestly one of the nicest hotels we have ever visited in the world. The hotel, which sits right in the centre of town, is designed by fusing the local culture, French history and vibrant ambience of Sapa into one impressive property. Boasting incredible views of the Sapa Valley and the famous rice fields, the Hotel de la Coupole Sapa has 250 rooms, a gymnasium, multiple restaurants and an indoor pool. It is by far the best hotel in Sapa. However, if this hotel is out of your budget, there are plenty of cheaper options around. And so that wraps up our 1-month Vietnam travel itinerary. We have to give special mentions to the cities of Hue and the Ha Giang Loop, 2 places in Vietnam we haven't yet been lucky enough to visit. But as Vietnam is one of our favourite countries in the world, I'm sure it won't be long until we do. If you guys think we missed anything along the way, please let us know down below in the comments. And as always, thank you for watching, and if you enjoy this content, please consider liking and subscribing.